Dominica, good afternoon to you and welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Talk on the Block. If it's on the block, then we'll talk about it. This afternoon is our first stop. Our first stop is the big gospel festival coming up. Talking to communication specialists at the DFC, Monel Alexis should tell us all about it. So we have to get in the gospel mood at this time. And on the telephone, let's say good afternoon to Monel Alexis. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, Matt, and good afternoon to all the listeners of Q95. I do hope that you guys are having a wonderful Friday. It's the start of the weekend. We all need that great little rest. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Well rested after the carnival. And how was the carnival for you?
The carnival for me was a great experience. I really appreciated seeing people from different parts of the world pouring into Dominica. I saw persons from Africa, from Sweden, from different parts in the U.S. South, and also from different islands in the Caribbean. So the visitors were represented. Our numbers were great. I really want to tell you how well we did, but I can't tell you yet. But I will inform that we did very well for this year's Mass Dominic 2026. And kudos to the police and all the stakeholders who ensured that things ran smoothly for this Mass Dominic experience. And of course, thanks to you and your team at 295 for amplifying the information of Discover Dominica Authority. We cannot do promotions without persons like yourself. So thank you, Matt, and thank you also to the team at Q95.
So the reviews you're getting there from the patrons, great reviews there?
Yes, the reviews are exceptional. I saw the data this morning, the comparison from last year to this year, and it got me really excited. So we're good. We're doing well.
All right, good. Now we're talking about something big coming up. The Dominica Festival.
That is correct.
Yes.
So our team at Discover Dominica Authority, we have shifted gears to the National Gospel Festival. As you know, we are the entity that plans and promotes national events, the festival, the carnival, jazz and Creole, and now we have the inaugural National Gospel Festival. This one, rather interesting, taking place Saturday, February 28th. That is next week, Saturday. It's at 5 p.m. The government of Dominica is the sponsor of this event, like the government sponsors the other national events. So this one, great event, you are interested, or rather you are invited to the National Gospel Festival, the first of its kind. Before I bring you the artists performing, I'm really happy that we're doing this because other islands in the region, they have gospel festivals as well. Visitors pour into their country to attend their gospel festivals. And of course, money spent in their countries, they service the economy. So we get that pour. We at Discover Dominica Authority, we are tapping into religious tourism. So I'm really happy about that. So let's talk artists performing. We have international, regional, and local artists performing. From Nigeria, there's Sinach. And Sinach will bring you songs like Waymaker, I Know Who I Am, and of course there's an Overflow. Also from Nigeria, there's Ada Ehi. So Ada brings songs like Congratulations, I Testify, Only You, Jesus. From the United States, there's a Travis Green with The Way, Made a Way, Intentional, You Waited. And from the United States, also we have Dante. Dante brings us songs like Joyful, Voice of God, and The Champion. So these are the international artists performing at the National Gospel Festival. Keep the date in mind, ladies and gentlemen, Saturday, 28th, 5 p.m., Winter Park Sports Stadium. From the region, we are well represented. We have artists from Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago. I know lots of us grew up listening to songs from Colin Davis out of Jamaica. You know, this one, Lord, I lift your name on high. We sing it almost every Sunday in church. She brings a song like this, Island Meets Jesus, One Day at a Time, Why Me, Lord? Also performing from Trinidad and Tobago, there's Positive, who has songs like Blessing After Blessing, Two Man Army, Never Let Go. And also from Trinidad and Tobago, there is Blessed Messenger. If you heard the song Family, Get Ready, Pressure, and Move Mountains, these are his songs, and he's going to present that and many more at our first event. Now, I'm pleased to inform that the event is not just a feature for international and regional artists, but the Gospel Festival, it brings local artists as well. It provides that opportunity for them to shine. So performing on the main stage from Dominica, we have DJ Alfie, J. Crow, Championing God, Mikael Farrell, Angel Joseph, Sanctified, Nile Grove, Vessels of Honor, the Lubia Catholic Youth Choir, Henrietta Matthew, Angel Anthony, Umoja Convent. There is Lysel and Lamar Javier. And there's also expressions of hymn, speech, chorale. And we're also introducing or adding some cultural acts as well into the mix, so persons can have not just a spiritual experience, but also they get to appreciate Dominica's culture as well. And of course, Gospel Festival, great to attend. It's a powerful space to reconnect, to reflect, and to uplift through music, prayer, and fellowship. And certainly beyond the personal impact, it contributes to the wider community by strengthening cultural expression, encouraging positive values, and attracting visitors. And as I mentioned earlier, it supports local businesses, creates economic activity, and most importantly, positions destinations like Dominica as welcoming spaces for faith-based experience.
That's a big one.
Yes, definitely a big one happening next week, Saturday, 5 p.m. at Windsor Park Sports Stadium. The great thing about this event, the first of its kind here in Dominica, is that individuals only pay a contribution at the door. A value was not indicated, so just think, sow a seed, whatever you feel that you want to contribute to enter the venue, you can do that. So yes, it is a voluntary contribution at the door for the inaugural event. I cannot tell you if next year there won't be a fixed fee, but come to the first one. It's going to be a great experience. Fun fact, information about this event can be found on our social media handles, Dominica Festival and Dominica Gospel Festival's Facebook page. And in there, you will find the different artists who are coming to Dominica. You will see lots of their drops and their invitations to the event. They are planning and they are excited to present to Dominica at the National Gospel Festival. The only thing that's missing, that's waiting to happen, is all of us entering the stadium next week, Saturday.
Let's do a little of Sinach at this time. Let's do this. A big festival taking place on the 28th. I know Monal is still on the line. We'll, of course, give you your closing personal remarks in a minute. Let's enjoy a little bit of Sinach. One of the artists to perform.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. You are here, rearranging destinies.
one of the soulful voice
You
voices you'll hear on that big night.
turn.
Monel, I know you can't wait for for that night next Saturday, huh?
Listen, I cannot wait for this gospel festival. This has been something that we've been working on for a while now. So I'm very happy that it is being actualized. So our team, we're very excited. We're working very hard to ensure that this event is as successful as the carnival, as festival, as jazz and Creole. So the same energy goes into marketing and promotion. So we look forward to the attendance of all Dominicans, be it you're spiritual or not. You are welcome to attend this event.
Okay. Well, we'll be talking to you, I'm sure, again sometime soon.
Definitely. So thank you very much for having this brief conversation. Once more, Saturday, February 28th, we are heading to the Winter Park Sports Stadium for the National Gospel Festival. Remember, it's only a voluntary contribution at the door.
Okay, thank you, Monel. Another voice. You will hear the Gospel Festival.
I have come this morning. You can see it. Say you can come this morning. It is my time, it is my season. All around this morning. And because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall never want every day.
Join Dominica for a night of gospel music, praise, thanksgiving, and prayer. The National Gospel Festival, dubbed Glory in Paradise, Saturday, February 28th, beginning from 5 p.m. at the Winter Park Sports Stadium, featuring Sinach and Eda Ayi out of Nigeria, Dante Bo and Travis Green out of the USA, Colin Davis out of Jamaica, Positive and Blessed Messenger from Trinidad and Tobago. We'll also hear from our very own local gospel artists and youth groups. Come for the praise, stay for the fellowship. Admission, voluntary contributions at the gates. Glory in Paradise, Saturday, February 28th, 5 p.m. Windsor Park Sports Stadium. Follow Dominica Gospel Festival on Facebook for more information.
Come see what's new at Burton and Company Limited. New range of air conditioning units. Great price, greater value for money. Standard air conditioning units have single speed compressor. Inverter technology uses variable speed compressor. That equates approximately 30% more efficient, making air conditioning more affordable for you. Burton and Company Limited, located corner Independence Street and Kennedy Avenue. Smart energy solutions at the Electric Shop.
All you, I just meet Goldwyn in Roseau again. Same place outside Flossie's. I tried to dock in, but you had time see me. Where? Story start again. Million, lot of my power with us, huh? Saka fella, I said the same thing you doing, shopping at Flossie's, and you don't have to tell me the same thing you tell me last time because I busy. It's to hear him way. You reckon? About my pocket, boy. I won't tell you that I save money in food and drinks when I buy quantity. I save more. Oh, shucks, man. Goldwyn, you still telling me. I know already. To pack I respect him, why? But it can him up here to Palais. I will tell all my friends from London, US and Dominica to come to Flossie's, right next to the Rosa Market. Open Sunday to Saturday. Flossie's can't do it to you.
Hey there, drivers. Ready to hit the road? At West Indies Oil Company Limited, we want to keep your journey safe and efficient. Here are some quick fueling guidelines to keep in mind. First, make sure your engine is turned off. Absolutely no smoking or use of cell phones. Be sure to turn down your radio and remove your seatbelt in the event of an emergency. Safety first. Next, specify the amount and type of fuel you need. $25 diesel, please. Before you drive off, check your side rearview mirror to ensure the nozzle has been removed and your tank cover is closed. Be sure to follow these tips to fuel up safely and efficiently. West Indies Oil Company Limited. Innovative energy solutions.
It could happen at any time. Whatever you're doing, stop. At You confirm to exercise your right, your vote, your party, your responsibility. This fresh confirmation process gives you the power and authority to choose your candidate. Don't miss this opportunity. Don't let it pass you by. Go exercise your right. Déposez ça, unbouge vote. Récomptez-vous toujours devant. Your vote is important. Make it count. You make first communion. Now is your time to confirm. To vote. Look, Patricia Terry, Shirley T-Boy, Lucia Kami already confirmed. Hurry, join the confirmation process. Make sure your name is big and bold on the electors list. Go and register in your nice Make sure you walk with your witness from your polling station who is already registered. Do it early, do it fast, do it now. Call the confirmation hotline at 617-9595 275-8164. Do it because that makes you 100% Dominican.
Sweet 16 is coming.
Dad, I turned 16 last year. Why are you still talking about my sweet 16?
For me, Dad, I still have 4 more years till I turn 16.
Hold on, girls. I'm not referring to your birthdays, okay? I'm just excited that PH Williams and Company's Super Sweet 16 sale is back after 6 long years. You see, construction costs high. And thanks to that deal, I get to save a lot of money that I can put towards your education. At birthday parties, you've asked for it. Now you've got it. From February 9 to March 6, enjoy 16% discount on any quantity of sand, aggregate, and concrete blocks. Not quite ready for delivery? No problem. You've got up to November 30. Just pay for your items within the promotional period, February 9 to March 6. Visit PH Williams and Company Limited at Rockaway Canefield. Telephone 449-1112, 449-1251, 275-0636.
Everyone's listening. Advertise on Q95 today. Get more bang for your buck. Talk shows, news, sports, music shows, entertainment events, weekend shows, Newsweek reviews, early morning shows, evening and daytime shows, hot tips on health, nutrition, security, traffic, weather, environment, and more. Place your display banners on the Q95 website, www.q95da.com, with live links to your own website. Advertise on Q95, your one-stop shop for audio and video streaming, breaking news, sports, and entertainment. Advertise on Q95. Get value for your money. Call 767-448-5822 today. The Big Station.
Join Dominica for a night of gospel music, praise, thanksgiving, and prayer. The National Gospel Festival, dubbed Glory in Paradise, Saturday, February 28th, beginning from 5 p.m. at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium, featuring Sinach and Eda Aye out of Nigeria, Dante Bo and Travis Green out of the USA, Colin Davis out of Jamaica, Positive and Blessed Messenger from Trinidad and Tobago. We'll also hear from our very own local gospel artists and youth groups. Come for the praise, stay for the fellowship. Admission, voluntary contributions at the gates. Glory in Paradise, Saturday, February 28th, 5 p.m. Windsor Park Sports Stadium. Follow Dominica Gospel Festival on Facebook for more information.
Waiting to contact my guest, who seemed a little busy on his phone, but we're asking the question. All the same, maybe we'll contact him a little later. But before we do, let's see if we can take a phone call. I suspect some people have some questions. Are you there, caller?
Mark,
Yeah.
just a question with respect to you, being your top journalist in Dominica. Just a question. What is the purpose of bringing these people in the Windsor Park Stadium to sing and to preach? Or it is to make Dominica a good place or to change Dominica? What is the purpose? Just a question. Because we just come out in a carnival spending money, come out in November, everything. Dominic, we need the Prime Minister ministers to check their people. You understand? Things are so deep tight in the country. I want to ask you again, if they will be paying them artists, if you're paying them the money they have to pay them artists, why they don't give it to poor people? Them poor people, they have all in the houses that saying they cannot pay their light bill and their water bill and their things there. So just a question with respect to you. Thank you.
I think, Malin, I think you're pointing the question at the wrong person. You should, we should ask the question. I'll ask again, maybe tomorrow if we contact Monel. What's the objective of bringing all the gospel artists? A lot of questions are coming on my phone as well. What's the purpose? What's the objective of this exercise? Hello, talk to me. Yes, are you there?
Yes, Matt.
Yes.
In as much as I love gospel, how much you can make the people laugh? If it was somebody else that's bringing those people down, not the government. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Another phone call. My guest stand by. Hello, yes?
So, Matt, is this happening just about that gospel festival?
No. We just talk. I just open the lines there for a few minutes before I contact my guest. Yes.
Okay, Matt. For the past couple of weeks, I've been seeing something about Together for Dominicans. It is saying that the people from Santo Domingo do not have to get Jesus to come to Dominica again. I am wondering why that has to happen. Because there are 11.5 million people in Santo Domingo, right? And maybe around 3/4 would want to come or so. And then this is another thing that's going to happen is jobs. They're going to lose jobs in different places. They're going to take people jobs. What is that? Why is the reason for allowing these people to come free up without visa? And the Haitians, because these people in Santo Domingo are just around 40% black. The Haitians, why can't they open up the place for the Haitians to come in instead? Why can't that happen? That's my question. Why are they opening up to the Santo Domingo?
Okay, next time I have a chance to talk to the Prime Minister, I'll ask him. But from what I heard there, from some other regional Prime Minister, there's a issue of security. I don't know if the same is, refers to Dominic as well, but there's an issue of security. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, 449-3095. Just to inform you that the CBI case comes up before the High Court on Monday. That's breaking news. The CBI case comes up for the High Court on Monday. Lawyers arrived over the weekend, of course, and that's at 9 a.m. Monday. Yes, a press conference will be held on Monday as well. So we'll find out what's going on there with the CBI case. One more phone call before we move on. Yeah, talk to me.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you.
Matt, I have no problem with the gospel concert.
Okay.
Okay? But what I am saying is, some time ago, we wanted the same stadium for us to go and sit down and free up ourselves and watch cricket, and we couldn't get it. But today, the stadium is ready for big gospel artists to come down. Who's sponsoring? Government of Dominica. Rubbish.
Well, they have not said that just yet, but it appears somebody's behind it. Somebody's behind it because to go there will be free, or just pay something. What you want, just pay. Hello, talk to me. Who's paying all these big artists? Are you there? Good afternoon. Yeah.
You keep on using the word this morning, code of secrecy.
Yes.
But the Nazi had a saying, sworn to secrecy. So I don't know if there's a different code of secrecy or sworn to secrecy. Now, when you sworn to secrecy, you have to make an oath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to take an oath. So you sworn to that secrecy. Thank you.
I'll ask the guests coming up there. Somebody else is asking, who's paying the big bill? These artists are big artists. And donations can't cover such. I suspect the festival for votes. That's a question. Is there an election coming soon? Marlon is saying there is a great need for services on the island and people's lives. Something is up. I'm sure the authorities are looking to see if they answer some of this question. Another question is this a distraction? Read the CBI matter coming up? I don't know. Hello, talk to me. Yes. Just question. Yes.
Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to our listeners. The call out talk about the Haitian.
Yeah.
He did me right on the head because Haiti is part of CARICOM. And every Haitian has to go to Dominica, Barbados, Antigua, St. Lucia, anywhere in the Caribbean, they have to go. They need a visa. So if they're part of CARICOM, who's speaking on behalf of Haiti, man? They are part of CARICOM. Why are they not enjoying the very same thing all other countries are enjoying? Who is speaking up for the Haitian? They're human beings. They have families. They have needs. They have wants. And I would really like to see an end to the visas Haitians have to go through to go to Caribbean countries. They are part of CARICOM. Who is really speaking up for the Haitians in Dominica, man? Who's CARICOM on a whole? CARICOM, they're part of CARICOM, man. But yes, for them to go to St. Lucia, visa. If they have to go to Antigua, visa. If they have to come to Dominica, visa. If they have to go to Barbados, anywhere around the Caribbean, which they are part of CARICOM, they need a visa. That cannot be right, Pat.
Well, as I said to you, I heard one prime minister saying, given all what is happening there in Haiti, there's a concern about violence. But that's one person's opinion. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Yes, Matt, to continue that thing there, Matt. And the people from Santo Domingo only have observer status in CARICOM. So thanks, Kopel, for bringing that up. I fell short on my deliberations with that concern. They only have observer status in CARICOM. They are not a member of CARICOM. You understand me? So let us get these people coming in, and maybe they have whatever security was, then do not allow any of them. But you're inviting all the people from Santo Domingo to come in for what? To take up our jobs. The only people who are going to get benefit from that is the people who have to go and get rent, to go and rent people's places. And then, Matt, on the other hand, on another note, like my friend Dudu, Matt, the thing about our Prime Minister agreeing to accept people from whatever country the Trump is throwing out, that is just for the people who have houses in Portsmouth, not renting since Ross went out to rent to go there, and for them to be paying them, because I believe the government is getting some money from the American government, and they're going to set them down, put them down there in Portsmouth. That's where they're going to be. Mark my word.
Right. But again, that's just speculation. That hasn't been confirmed, huh? Let's see if we can go to our discussion this afternoon. All right, so let's see if we can connect. I'm having some difficulty calling you direct here. Mr. Simeon Joseph, how are you doing?
But I'm doing fine.
Did,
know.
did I disturb you from your Did I disturb you from your snooze?
Well, we all earn those pleasures of life now and again.
All right. Well, you earn it. You deserve it. But Simeon, we want to get directly to the conversation because some people honestly begin asking questions. As it relates to, given what we heard this week about the judge, who people seem to be disappointed about breaking his code of silence, and people are saying, should there be a code of silence as it relates to the judging of Calypso?
I wouldn't say a code of silence per se. I think there should never be a code of silence on anything.
Okay.
But I think it has to do basically with what you call something called professional ethics. There are different forms of ethics.
Okay.
There's medical ethics. There is legal ethics. There are different types of ethics. So I think it borders on the boundary of what you call professional ethics. From being a former judge myself and someone who has done training for judges, I wouldn't say there needs to be a code of silence. From being a former judge, I say there are agreed terms and conditions that every judge agrees to before a Calypso competition and during the Calypso competition and after the Calypso competition. So I think when it comes to dissemination of information or disagreement with positions, there is the standard whereby when someone is asked to be a judge, they are asked to agree to certain principles that require of them how to conduct themselves. And so I don't know if you're speaking to the discussion of Mr. Lofty Jura. I think that's what you're referring
and
to.
I've heard other Calypsonians comment the same, saying that that was unethical, if you will.
Well, it depends. Ethical. I mean, to use ethics in a broad terms like that, I think it to me is something that needs a certain level of clarity. Because as I said before, there are different types of ethics, okay, and codes of ethics. I don't think that because ethics basically speaks to principles of moral behavior, how one conducts oneself within a given activity. Now, the Calypso judges do not swear to an oath of secrecy. They don't swear to an oath of confidentiality. There is no contract that they sign that says that they cannot disclose. What they have is a basic understanding and agreement that as a judge, you do not discuss the results. So I don't think one can say it was unethical because there is no moral principle or code that they enter into, it binds them to that principle of morality. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense to you.
I follow you.
Okay?
Yes.
And so therefore, to say that was unethical, I think it's a sweeping generalization and a broadening of a term that may not apply. I think what one can say is it may have been a breach of an agreement.
Unprofessional?
It may have and you're a judge. Whatever we do in life, there are professional standards, and so the professional standards for the judges would be that, from what I know, is that it is said that every training session before every competition, the judge's decision is final, and that means that it should not be, it cannot be determined to change, because once the results are given, it's public. You cannot take it back. You cannot undo it. You cannot unspeak it. So the judge's decision is final. That is said at almost every judge's competition. That is said at almost every Calypso competition, every training. I don't know if it still happens, but that is what it is said. And it is often added on to that whatever is discussed has to remain within the chambers of the judges. But I don't think that, I would not say that totally debars someone from articulating their views. Now,
listening to the debate. I must confess I did not watch the competition, but post the competition, I had to force myself to go on YouTube and watch Nashel and Daddy Chess 3 or 4 times, and to even judge them from the screen to look at areas where I think one may have capitulated over the other to determine who should be the winner. And I have major concerns. There are also some things Mr. Jira said yesterday that even raised more concerns. But Matt, I will say there are several things that emanated from what Mr. Jira said. Now, mark you, Matt, I am not going to publicly condemn Mr. Jura.
Right.
By no means. It's somebody I have a good relationship with, somebody I speak to, and I have had discussions with him. I have discussed with him. I've shared with him my personal opinion on what he has done and what he has said. I basically advise on the principle of these 3 things. I mean, I'll share with you, Matt, my principle in assessing what he did.
Okay.
So I'll tell you this. 1, I'm a Catholic, and one of my favorite persons is Pope John the 23rd. And one of his common favorite sayings were, 1, it's not everything that is heard that should be spoken. It's not everything that is seen that one should talk about. It's not every thought that one should articulate, and it's not every action that one should reveal. Meaning that we have to be able to exercise a certain level of prudence of knowing when to talk and when not to talk, if you understand what I'm saying. And in this case, my best advice to Mr. Jira was that exercising of prudence should determine that he ought not to have spoken to the public as a judge, having gone through all the things he described yesterday, because to my mind, I think the more mature, or I wouldn't say more mature, but the more responsible approach would have been to have a post-mortem meeting, because in his discussions, there were a number of anomalies that were revealed. So 1 is have a post-mortem, call for an immediate post-mortem of the judges. The judges should have a meeting with the Calypso Association and the president of the Calypso Association, the chief judge or the judges coordinator or the PRO of the Calypso Association ought to have been the ones to communicate to the public. You understand what I'm telling you?
Okay.
And I think that would have been the right process, because he said a number of things that were worrying. I noticed he did not mention a body. He kept saying a body, a body. No, that leaves one to suspect. It could either be 1, the chief judge, or the judge's coordinator. Now, having been a judge myself, there are numerous occasions when I know the chief judge, whose responsibility it is to call the judges together to justify the allocation of points. Remember, it's not marks, it's points. People have to understand. Because Calypso, it's an assessment, and it's called an assessment because each person comes from their own background, and based on their background, they look at the performance and they assess the Calypsonians based on their interpretation. Okay, put it that way. That's what we have to understand. So it's an assessment. So when there seems to be gross differences in allocation of points, you simply ask the judge to justify your allocation of points. How did you come up with that based on the judging criteria? That's the role of the chief judge. If there is a tie, or if the majority of some judges would have had a winner and the others, because he mentioned yesterday there were 2 judges, I think, who had Daddy Chess low down, but the majority of the judges had Daddy Chess way up. So as a chief judge, I would call on them and ask the essential question. I mean, how do you do that? Because you're assessing from your vantage point, how did you come up with that? Explain to me under each criteria how you allocated those points to determine if it's justified or not. If it's justified, you leave it like that, because that's the assessment of the judge. And so therefore, I heard a second point where which normally happens, people are asked to, vote if there's a tie. One of the things that disturbed me very much is I heard there was a 4-4 tie. I don't know how there was a 4-4, that's an even number, and I know for judges you also have an odd number. So I found it strange that there was a 4-4, some kind of thing like that. Anyway, that rose a question to me. But the question I have to ask is, how did it come to 4-4 that time when it was originally only 2 judges who did not have Daddy Chess on top? So does that mean that the 2 judges who voted against him being king admitted that they erred in their assessment, or that 1, they misjudged, or 2, that they were under some kind of pressure or some kind of thing like that? I found it very strange that they would automatically shift their judging decision to a position of neutrality. I understand what I'm telling you. Are you getting me? I'm going.
Yes,
So
I'm
that
here.
to me is an anomaly, and so therefore that was thing. But then the question is, who did it? I'm going to say point blank, Matt, I don't know who was the person leading the conversation. But if it is the chief judge who was, I want to know, was the chief judge quiet? Was
Go ahead,
was
go
the
ahead.
chief judge involved in the process of the deliberations after the judging? That's fine. On the other hand, Matt, if it was the judge's coordinator who was doing that, I think that is totally out of place, because the judge's coordinator, because I don't know why Lofty was saying a body. Maybe he didn't want people to point fingers, but anybody who has judged before or knows the dynamics of judging competition, the only 2 people who would question anything is the chief judge or the judge's coordinator. If it was the chief judge, I think the chief judge would have needed to ask the judges to validate. And why would the chief judge ask people to vote? I found that very strange. Then, if it is not the chief judge and it is the judge's coordinator, I think we are bordering on a certain level of irregularity, or if it was the judge's coordinator, or a certain level of out of placeness, inappropriateness, because I don't think the judge's coordinator has any role, responsibility, right, or privilege to ask judges to question or to vote or to anything. The judge's coordinator is simply to monitor the judging, gather the points, input it, hand it back to the chief judge for determination. So I think that needs some level of clarification within the ambit of the
So
discussion.
you want you want Lofty to basically declare who's this
I'm
body?
not saying he should. I really don't think he should. I think that is now for the Calypso Association to go indoors, behind the scenes, and thrash it out. Because, Matt, I can tell you one thing. From all what Lofty said yesterday, the Calypso Association needs to take stock. Okay? They need to take stock, because a number of things were said yesterday that I don't want to get into right now. But I think in terms of a clinical, analytical assessment of, and again, after Lofty left yesterday, I went back and I listened to the conversation. Many questions were raised. But I would say from Mr. Jira's point of view, I wouldn't say it was unethical, but I say it may have been imprudent on his part to speak up. I'm not talking about oath of. I don't think it was unethical, because he's not bound by anything. I mean, we have lawyers in Dominica who take an oath to the legal profession, and they are still corrupt and break. We have medical people, we have politicians who take an oath, and that is what we have to be bothered about when it comes to ethics in Dominica. Our politicians, our government officials, our lawyers, our medical practitioners, our policemen, the professional people who take oaths, sacred oaths, and breach those oaths. That is what is unethical, okay? And let's put that aside. However, when it comes to a judge having a common understanding that you ought not to discuss publicly the results, I think that is where, quite frankly, as a guarded advisor to Mr. Lofty, I would have told him, I would say it was a bit imprudent, and you could even say out of place, to go on the radio and disclose those details. Having said so, I think that when one understands fully the criteria, Matt, when one understands fully the criteria of judging, and what
before you go, one person is commenting there on Facebook and says it's a breach of secrecy, but not unethical, where justice and humanity is concerned.
Yeah, exactly. No, let me tell you something. Mr. Anybody knows Loftus Dura has been a mouthpiece for justice, truth, and right in the political field, in the social sphere,
Right.
in the electorate. We know that. One can say that his personality is to be a hardcore champion for justice and truth and right. So I can understand where his personal fever would have come in and decided, no, as a man who demands justice, as a man who demands equality, as a man, I am going to speak. I can understand that. But as I said, Matt, sometimes even with the best of our qualities and our personalities, prudence still has a place. So whether or not he's a champion of justice, he could have been more prudent and said, am I the right person? Is it my place, or is there some other method or medium through which I can bring that level of discrepancy to the attention of the public, the Calypso Association? Because at the end of it, it is more than just speaking out. It is correcting. It is making things right. It is improvement. It is ensuring when we act and we speak, it makes the situation, the circumstance, the structure, and everything better for the future. That's why we speak out. So
I'm hearing, before you move on, I'm hearing that Loftus should have taken that decision on that night and said, you know what, I don't want to be part of this, what's going on here, and walk out.
Well, yes, and he may have, because at the end of the day, remember, every judge has to put their signature to the judging sheet. So that's where another question I had. The question is, did he sign the sheet? Okay,
He did.
Right, exactly. So after you sign the sheet, you're saying, I agree. And to my mind, politely, I can say politely, once you have signed the sheet, once you have collective, because when you sign the sheet, you are saying, I am in collective agreement.
Okay.
I am in unanimous consent. And therefore, why talk after? There's a time, Matt, I remember judging at semifinals, and I was not happy with the thing. And Ferdinand Frampton I expressed my sentiment to her, and I said, I will not sign. I'm not going to speak. That's way back. I'm not going to speak. But I'm dissenting, and I will not sign. And so therefore, please understand that the results that are going to be mentioned tonight, I am not in total agreement with the final 10 after, and so therefore I will not sign. But I've never spoken about it. I never went publicly and said who I think should be there, who should not be there, what happened. I think that night, I remember there was a gross difference in gaps between the judging. I asked myself the same question: how did those judge? Because you see, Matt, it's not easy being a Calypso judge. And first of all, I heard someone, and that is where, Matt, I'll tell you, I'm going to be very frank with you. Somebody named Saturday night. My question is, how did they arrive? And the Calypso Association, I'm going to say it publicly, and that can be said, they have to do serious stock taking of their list of judges, because you have lyrics, you have melody, you have voice, you have rendition, you have presentation. How do you determine who are the pool of judges? There are some people on the judging panel that I saw. I've never heard them in music, I've never heard them in drama, I've never heard them in literature, I've never heard them in anything. What you see, to be qualified for a judge speaks on two levels. There is no qualification. You don't go you don't go to a university to be a judge, but there's a certain level of qualification that determines if you can a job. You have to be capable, you have to be competent, and you have to have the capacity to judge it, because you're using the assessment approach. You see, Matt, allow me to say, human nature dictates that we all have different tastes in music. Some people like booyah, some people like soca, some people don't like booyah at all. Some people love, some people like calypso, and that is it. And that happens in food, it happens in style, it happens in politics, right? At the pinnacle of music, from a technical perspective, the expert would place maybe classical sympathies, operas, and jazz, but these have little impact on our Caribbean culture. And so when you go to judge a Calypso show, you're looking for the Calypsonian who creates a product that is suitable for consumption by the general public with different tastes. And that is where the Calypso judge comes in. The Calypso judge comes from the public, so that they can have a judge at one end of the spectrum and another judge at the other end of the spectrum. So is this wrong to have judges of different tastes? Absolutely not. However, since the answer to that question is no, this supports the concept that one does not judge Calypso, since he may or may not be qualified to judge Calypso. But one is certainly qualified to give an assessment, an opinion on the performance of the Calypsonian. And so the above, this is the reason why you have a panel of judges that are utilized, and you utilize their strength of the diversity of their opinions to assume that they are making an assessment based on the performance during this specific Calypso show that is being judged, if you understand what I'm telling you. And so we arrive at a criteria. But I still have to ask the question, in terms of the background of those Calypsonians, the judges, I heard the names being mentioned yesterday, and I kind of question though, because you see, Matt, Carnival, let us look at originality, for instance. Let us look at originality. If you are not a Calypso fan, if you are not somebody who listens to Calypso regularly from Orangery, it's hard to judge originality, you know. Because if you understand what originality means in terms of lyrics, it has to do essentially and basically with the fact that that storyline, is it possible to have a different narrative and structure that would be exclusive to the writer? And it is created by a particular writer, etc. It's not a copy. It's not out of context. You know, it has a certain unexpected nature about it. It has a certain integrating an authentic message in there, and that is the bottom line that you have to look at that. And so you have to look at those things. So if one just jumps in and say I want to be a Calypso judge, and they have no historical involvement, either by knowledge, how do they judge originality? If you are just come and you just want to be a Calypso judge, but you don't know whether Calypso in 2006 resembles a Calypso of 1999 or 2001 or 1976, how are you going to judge originality? Because essentially originality is not judged by allocating points, you know. Originality is judged by deducting points. So you have to say, is that Calypso original enough? And you say, okay, out of 10, I will not give 10. And because it's not, I will give a 4. Or because it is very original, I will give a 9. So you have to have that historical perspective. And it's from that perspective that my comes in terms of the selection of the pool of judges. So I think the Calypso Association has a lot to look at it. Then I'm not even going to talk about things like narrative, Matt, and coherence, because coherence is a totally different thing, and structure and all those kind of things. Because I heard Lofty said some things yesterday that are very concerning, and I think at the heart of the criticism has to be the Calypso Association. Because of the fact that if all the things Lofty mentioned yesterday are valid from in-person perspective, because he talked about under the 10, they were going on for an hour and a half and all those kind of things there, it raises many questions. My first question is, what was the chief judge doing at the time? Was he actively engaged in the deliberations, or was he quiet? I don't know. Or what was the role of the judges coordinator at the time? I don't know. But if there was a chief judge and there was a judges coordinator, what caused that long deliberation to the extent that, as he said yesterday, just from listening to him, the process, something is wrong there, you know? And that is why I think it is more than just speaking up. I think it has to do with a serious post-mortem that it must not happen again. Matt, to be honest with you, I did not become too interested in the Calypsos this year because I found they were lackluster, many of them. They didn't have that kind of exciting pitch of Calypsos that entice one to be. I listen to most of the Calypso because I love Calypso. I critique Calypso a lot and those kind of things there. I just like Calypso. For me is a narrative, it's storytelling, it's political commentary, it's satire, it's humor, and I think it's a great cathartic psychological process for one to go through Calypso season, because it really elevates a lot of how you call it, the psychological humming drums that allows one to be relaxed, to enjoy oneself, to laugh, and those kind of things. You know.
Mhm.
So, for instance, when I listen to Nash's Commissioner M. Lisa, I just love the twist and the turn and the irony in that calypso. You understand what I'm telling you?
Mhm.
And I like the fact how she spun the whole narrative. But the storyline to me needed a certain level of euphemisms that would allow it to have a certain level of satire and humor in that calypso. It was a little too serious. Could have been that. That is just my perspective. You understand
Okay.
what I'm telling you?
Mhm.
And so that is it from that point of view. But Matt, in closing, I don't know if you want to say in closing or if you have more questions. I will say this: having not gone to the calypso competition, and having looked at all the calypsos over and over, because when the debate come up, I said, you know something, nobody's going to tell me, I want to see for myself. So I looked at Daddy Chess several times, first and second, and I looked at Nash's, and I looked at Bob and Joy. And I can say the pool of final placements is quite, how you call it, accepting.
Okay.
And that is it. I was disappointed in a few of the. For instance, I was disappointed in Bob because Bob normally comes very strong, commanding performance, very how you call it, resonant voice, you know, and that kind of thing. And I think personally, publicly, I can see areas where he fell short. Joy, again, I think compared to how she came out with her bang last year and how she came out this year, even her dressing that would suit the song she was singing needed a little reconsideration in terms of presentation.
Okay.
People have to look at how they dress. That's something the Calypsonians often overlook. So I think when she came out with that white dress, I didn't see it as matching the song that she was singing. I tried to make sense of it. That's it. So I can say that. When it came to Daddy Chess and Nashelle, and you look at their both performances, I am not surprised they were close. And when you break down, for instance, let me look at Nashelle. One thing, you know, she brought the red bench, they took it away, and then on the to the right of the stage, she had obviously a lady at a desk with two policemen, two security personnel.
Mhm.
Let us look at stage presence and presentation. So she had these two things present, but her stage presence was very much to the crowd. Okay, so I could see, for instance, where she would not have gotten her full points there. Not once in her saying Commissioner Emily said did she go to stage left and address that lady. Her stage presence was very much to the crowd, singing along, going to the chorus, and making sure that the melody and the high. But there was very little interaction with the props on stage, and that's where
I
many
get you.
Calypsonians fall
Mhm.
short. They don't integrate their performance with the props on stage. So when they should maybe get a good 5 in stage presence, they would maybe get a 3. When all it would take is proper rehearsals and determine when I sing that line, where do I stand? When I start the chorus the second time, where do I go? When I'm addressing that particular line, that makes that's what you call a commanding performance, if you understand what I'm telling you.
Mhm.
Also, too, so that is it. Then I think her melody was spot on. And then when you look at melody, there was. So I was not when I looked at it, and I critically looked at it, and I could see also during Daddy Chess' second song where he lacked certain areas of what you call the Daddy Chess expected delivery. So looking at the two of them closely, I would say no doubt any one of them could have gotten the crown. But looking at the criteria, I can see in song 1 and 2 where Nashelle would have outperformed Daddy Chess and underperformed. And looking at Daddy Chess, it's clear certain areas where he would have outperformed Nashelle and underperformed Nashelle in another round. I'm not surprised it was close. I have a problem in looking at, because yesterday afternoon I went and I looked at the entire Calypso show on my phone.
Mhm.
And I have a problem in looking at everything, how two judges could place Daddy Chess 4th and 5th. I have could maybe check out. So those two judges, they need to go over their score sheets again and ask themselves, do they really understand the criteria of judging in the allocation of points? overall, Matt, I would say we have seen better Calypso competitions before. We have seen better preparedness of the Calypsonians. We have heard better lyrics. Melodies, I find, seem to all have been rushed. I don't know who are the musical composers, but if you're a Calypsonian, you have to at least make sure that that is tight, especially in terms of the compatibility aspect of the melody, where the words speak to the music and also to the basic rhythm and melody for the song, because some songs, I think the melody and the basic rhythm did not fit those songs. It could have been a little more upbeat, a little faster, those kind of things. There's certain lines, transitions from verses to chorus could have been a little more, could have been better transitions in terms of the musicology that leads from one to the other. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense to you,
I'm following you.
but I think overall, and Matt, again, it's all at the door of the Calypso Association. I'm saying that to say one, Matt. This is the only cultural musical organization in Dominica that has a house. Kubuli does not have a house. The Music Lovers Government Band does not have a house. There are many organizations in Dominica involved in music, art, and culture that do not have a place to call their home. My question is, what is the Dominica Calypso Association doing in that Calypso house to better prepare Calypsonians, to improve the art form, to organize Calypso competitions and presentations better, to better equip the judges? Why have a Calypso house and it's not operating 12 months of the year? What is the executive of the Calypso Association doing to better prepare the Calypsonians, to have some sessions on lyrics and presentation and those kind of things during the course of the year, because they are a Calypso Association. Members pay their dues. They subscribe to the organization. And the Calypso Association is not only to organize Calypso Association and Calypso Fight. If you have a finals, take care of your members. Help them to be better at the art that they do. Help them to improve on even voice training, because there are some Calypsonians, their tessitura of their voices is totally off. If a key is in the range of C, sometimes you cannot determine if it's C sharp, if it's C flat, if it's C major. You just don't know. All you know is they're singing in the key, but sometimes they're not singing on key. Am I making sense to you? Right? They're singing within range. But so have voice training for them. There are people in Dominica who can do that and give them a basic understanding of stage presence, stage front, stage left, stage back, stage mid, center stage, and do some dynamics with them. That's what you need to do. You have people in Dominica who can help them to do that. Interpretation of props for presentation. They can do that. So I think and even when you come to the judges, have sessions for, just open it up for Dominicans. Have a session on lyrics alone. 20, 30 people, get a pool of people, have a session on melody alone, get a pool of, so then you have your list of judges, and when you have your competition, you have a better roster of judges that you can basically distribute. And be very careful with semi-finals, because it is at the semi-finals that determines the standard, the criteria, and the output of your finals. If you flop at semi-finals, as many semi-finals who should have gone through to the finals, you will affect the ultimate outcome of the finals. Okay? So that stupid business of putting names in a bag, they know fully well the names they put in the bag, because they leave out many names, and they go and tell judges, oh, you wasn't deep. They know fully well that there are some judges they just don't put in the bag. And they can take that to the bank and they can challenge me about that. You understand what I'm telling you? So therefore, you get the names that you put in the bag. But if you have a pool of train, so that's why you have the Calypso Association. And now there's a new executive. I take it with all the right connections, because they could use the stadium this year. Some of them have inner connections with the powers that be. Maybe they will get more funding and able to have greater support. So I hope they capitalize on their position to ensure that the Calypso art forming, have sessions for students, call students for secondary school students to come in, have, all those kind of things there. It's there, it's built, it's standing on Bath Estate, a 3-story building. What happens in there at the different levels of those rooms? I don't know. So my suggestion to them, the Calypso Association has a lot of work on its table, and it's unfortunate that year after year, almost after every Calypso Association, you have a little level of controversy simply because I think, and I would propose, that the Calypso Association is lacking in its responsibility to pay dutiful, proactive, strategic steps towards the development of the art form of Calypso and to ensure that the patrons get a good show, number one, and the Calypsonians themselves are fairly assessed at every competition. And that would be my take on
Your
the matter.
piece.
Yeah, that's how I think. I mean, since you asked me those questions, that would be my bet. And if
Well said, well said. I wanted to ask you some other questions, but we'll ask it, some other time because
we run out of time.
No, we're not running out of time. But I'm saying that we need some time for people to interact as well. But there's something else I want to talk to you about, and I'm sure I'll do it sometime next week. Okay? 123.
Okay, sure.
What a wealth of information there from Simeon. Thank you very much. Thank you. Always willing to share his knowledge and experience there, brother Simeon Joseph. A lot of food for thought, huh? What a professional. I'm hoping that the Calypso Association can engage Mr. Simeon and others like him to make the art form a better one. On the telephone, hello, talk to me. Yes? Oh, sorry about that. Let's take another phone call. Yes? Yes? Hello? Hello?
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you.
Oh, Matt, I was about to give Simeon 98%, but I think I have to give him 100. I agree with what he said, and especially when he talk about the presentation and the prop, and that's exactly what I've been saying. If Nashel had only gets, say, a Kalinago person, somebody with the same pigmentation like the person she was speaking about, and put them in a gabardine uniform and was looking towards that bench, and then had, let's say, I saw JJ was in the show, they could have asked him. If he say no, well, get somebody looking like him in the uniform, taking the benches, and then somebody coming in a gabardine, and that is where, and she concentrated on the crowd, and that is so true. And that is why people have been saying that they feel that she should get it. But these are really critical little things. But another point I want to bring, when I saw certain people on the judging, I say, well, boy, Calypso reach a level. Because the very same guy, and first of all, I thought it was unethical to come on. If you're part of a body and you take a decision, you cannot come in public and wash your name basically. But I still believe it's ethical because the tenets of ethics would tell you, if you're part of a body, you don't try to score points by exposing your body. And this was the same man, you never give me an opportunity, and I said no. This man came, I having my lunch at Fort Young. I never even knew the man. And the man lying and saying, I called PM and telling he and a white man eating. There were certain people there which I will not go into. They must have been doing their work. And the man called on the radio, on your radio, and say that his son, I call the PM, and as soon as the PM thing, he saw they called the man that was eating with him at the Fort Young. I didn't even know the man, I just hear him the name. But I never called to see him because, you see, I'm not a farm labor. So I never call back to refute or anything. But you see, when people not shrunk and not being honest, these things happen. But Simeon made some very pertinent points. I'm not asking them to call me as judge because I judged Calypso 25 years ago. I know some music. I still play my little music. 26 years ago, I got the most outstanding student in the guitar. I'm not going public. And now I'm doing my best for 4 years now with friends. But anyway, he made some good points, and people must ponder and not just criticize and say because they like that person. But she was extremely good. Look, I have my score sheet there. I had both of them on I was doing radio broadcast, and look, I have both of them there. Tasha P 158, Stout 158, Bob 152, Daddy Chess, and Nashel Tai 168. Thank you very much for giving me a listen.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break and we'll come right back. Thank you. Okay.
Dominica Brighton.
Dominica Freight Systems, we provide services which are flexible, reliable, and customizable to meet your unique requirements. Dominica Freight Systems, your total freight solutions from start to finish. Located in Cateville, Dominica. Contact us on 616-1705 or visit our Facebook page for more information today. Dominica Freight Systems.
Somebody pass the water. Somebody bring the water. Somebody get the water. Ready now. When you feeling hard, take up the water. If you need your man, take up the water. If you need water, take up the water. If you need water, take up the water. Somebody pass blue water. Somebody bring blue water. Somebody get blue water.
Join Dominica for a night of gospel music, praise, thanksgiving, and prayer. The National Gospel Festival, dubbed Glory in Paradise, Saturday, February 28th, beginning from 5 p.m. at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium, featuring Sinach and Eda Ayi out of Nigeria, Dante Bo and Travis Green out of the USA, Colin Davis out of Jamaica, Positive and Blessed Messenger from Trinidad and Tobago. We'll also hear from our very own local gospel artists and youth groups. Come for the praise, stay for the fellowship. Admission, voluntary contributions at the gates. Glory in Paradise, Saturday, February 28th, 5 p.m. Windsor Park Sports Stadium. Follow Dominica Gospel Festival on Facebook for more information.
Madam Boy Madi, Laukali, Idikote Bryson Company. Here, Bryson Company, the only company I know with Bryce was cooking water and back and neck. Now, in the last valley short, I said Bryce. In the old, the plus nefla, where you have a roofing material and seamless guttering. Yes, 24 gauge governors, all colors. Ever open Nipo gas peel agent, they program the computer to give you the exact size you want. And the seamless guttering, aluminum, that can better withstand the elements you have in an easy way. So no leaking after a while. And so much more. Bryson Company, the by 8 bank close to the old mill at Enfield. Telephone 617-2468.
Come see what's new at Burton and Company Limited. New range of air conditioning units. Great price. Greater value for money. Standard air conditioning units have single speed compressor. Inverter technology uses variable speed compressor. That equates approximately 30% more efficient, making air conditioning more affordable for you. Burton and Company Limited. Located corner Independence Street and Kennedy Avenue. Smart Energy Solutions at The Electric Shop.
All you, I just meet Goldwyn in Roseau again. Same place outside Flossie's. I try to dock in, but you had time see me. Well, story start again. Million, lot of my father with us, huh? Salcafella, I say the same thing you doing, shopping at Flossie's, and you don't have to tell me the same thing you tell me last time because I busy. It's to hear him way. You reckon? About my pocket boy. I won't tell you that I save money in food and drinks when I buy quantity. I save more. Oh, shucks, man. Goldwyn, you still telling me. I know already. To pack a spet him, eh? But it can him up here for Palais. I will tell all my friends from London, US and Dominica to come to Flossie's. Right next to the Rosa Market. Open Sunday to Saturday. Flossie's can't do it to you.
That's what looks stones by P.H. Williams. COVID-19 now. People saving loads of money. It's with on your pocket, it's with on your wallet, it's with on your budget. From now until the final day, March 6th, you pay for all of your sandstone and building blocks. Then you come back and pick it up when you have 9 months to pick it up. So wait, leave it there. We'll take everything for you. That's the age. We always must have your again. And you can back to your veranda. You can get a new go You can get a little extension. You know, Philip leg long. Increase the bedroom because he's coming out outside the bed. And he's such a hole. Go to PH Williams and save a big time.
Tout le monde. Puis c'est côté PH Williams, ça c'est fait une ville à côté Rockaway.
Come double up, maximize, pay for it. Leave it then you come back in 9 months. You are back in 9 months for the baby to born. Patricia antibody, they're sleeping sweet tonight on that sweet 16 deal. Only at P.H. Williams. Leaders in every construction project.
Advertise on Q95 today. Get more bang for your buck. talk shows, news, sports, music shows, entertainment events, weekend shows, Newsweek reviews, early morning shows, evening and daytime shows, hot tips on health, nutrition, security, traffic, weather, environment, and more. Place your display banners on the Q95 website, www.q95da.com, with live links to your own website. Advertise on Q95, your one-stop shop for audio and video streaming, breaking news, sports, and entertainment. Advertise on Q95. Get value for your money. Call 767-448-5822 today. The Big Station.
Join Dominica for a night of gospel music, praise, thanksgiving, and prayer. The National Gospel Festival, dubbed Glory in Paradise, Saturday, February 28th, beginning from 5 p.m. at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium, featuring Sinach and Eda Aye out of Nigeria, Dante Bo and Travis Green out of the USA, Colin Davis out of Jamaica, Positive and Blessed Messenger from Trinidad and Tobago. We'll also hear from our very own local gospel artists and youth groups. Come for the praise, stay for the fellowship. Admission, voluntary contributions at the gates. Glory in Paradise, Saturday, February 28th, 5 p.m. Windsor Park Sports Stadium. Follow Dominica Gospel Festival on Facebook for more information.
Let's go to the telephone. Are you there? Yes.
Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Matt, I always like to hear Simeon speak. Good with Simeon. Let me say something, Matt. These people with their gospel thing, they were Q95 was paid to advertise it.
Of course, we are paid for being advertised. Why?
Oh, no, I had to ask. I thought, is there a favor you're doing?
Why would I do a favor? Are we in the business?
Oh, all right. Don't feel no way. I just asked.
Why should I feel that way? You're asking questions. 235. Let's go back to the telephone at this time. Hello, talk to me, yes?
It's here again. I'm wondering how certain people will be able to watch National on the road.
Why?
Well, they know the reason why. They know the reason why. That's it.
All right, thank you very much. You know, I met Daddy Chess today, And he seemed cool about it because he was just questioning as to why the two judges had him at that position. Why is a very important question, you know? Why? These two judges had him at number 5 and number 7, as everybody else is talking about. Okay, well, I don't think he has any problems with what happened there on the weekend. It was a very close competition. Somebody says, man, training is very important for all involved in Calypso. Yearly improved training based on lessons learned. Continuous monitoring requires improvement as deemed necessary. Simeon is very objective and explicit. I now have a better understanding of the issues of the Calypso. Good job, Simeon. I think you have laid a lot of the issues for the past few days to rest. Are you there, fella? Yes.
Yes, I am, Matt.
Yes.
And Matt, I listened to more than 3/4 of Mr. Joseph's deliberation. And the critical point he made was, you cannot just come and want to be a judge. You have to be listening to Calypso all the time so you can make a comparison in one song over the other and one performance over the other, you know. So that is really a critical thing that people who want to be judged have to be doing, listening to Calypso and love Calypso, man. Good evening.
Good evening, good afternoon to you. It's Friday, it's the weekend is here. On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Matt, let me just say hats off to Honorable Wise Man from North, East, West, South, Mr. Simeon Joseph. Matt, all what Simeon say, I agree with him, and I give him 100%. The last caller said something, and I agree with him. You can't just take a person that don't know from his elbow to his ace part and put him to judge a show, my brother. You understand? You have to have experience for you to be a judge. I was once a judge years ago. Gone. I used to judge Raymond Lawrence, can tell you. Franklin Edward. I used to judge the Princess Show. I was a ranger, Prongni Guide Ranger. I judge a Princess Show, and I know all the substance for all them things. You cannot take a person and just put a person to judge. When I hear this kind of people, that was the judge I bought. You understand? I'm not saying they this, they that, but they have to have education when you judging a thing. And you see the Calypso thing, I call it Roro, Calypso, Roro. You know what that reminds me of? The confirmation of the election. That is another Roro. And least but not last, you cannot, and I will say it over and over, you cannot, I learned in the law. I was in the law for 16 years. Miss Charles wanted me, send me to Barbados to study law. So I know about the law. You cannot put a crown on a man's head. It's not that the chest that put the crown. You understand? And take off the crown on the man's head. I hear Paula saying that the church should give the young lady the crown. You understand? As they say, it was a melee malouche with Daddy Chefs and the young lady. You cannot blame him. You cannot blame the young lady. Blame the judges and them. Blame the men people. And all I want to hear, what the president of the Calypso Association and all the other people he have, like He's like his the executive then. What they have to say about that? And the person that made that mistake, I should demote him, ban him, flush him out, and no more for him to come back there. Matt, thank you. Have a nice
Thank you, Marlon. Thank you very much. 449-3095. I want to go back to that story I did earlier after this phone call as it relates to St. Lucian. 2 St. Lucian fishermen killed in an Caribbean incident alleged to be a U.S. strike over the importation of drugs to the Caribbean island. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to
Thank
you.
you, Simeon, for what you said. Matt, it's the same thing I have been saying, Matt. You cannot just take any boat. The Caribbean Association have to take some blame, the past one. Well, we have a new one now, so I think they'll put things in place. I'm hoping. You cannot just take anybody and put to judge a show. Another thing, Matt, I'm saying, I always say that if you are asked to judge a show, Matt, you cannot do it. Just say no, Matt. You understand? Just say no, I cannot. And so that's not my bag. I cannot do it. Why are you going in something you don't know anything about? So I hope the new association, all what Simeon said, they'll take it into consideration. I said already, they used to say about training. But Matt, I said already on a show, some people are just untrainable. You understand that, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. On the telephone, it's 244, yes?
Yeah, my brother, what's going on? Greetings. I know it's difficult to get to the lines, man. But I didn't hear what Simeon said, but you don't need training when it comes to being honest, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't need training for that. It's just disrespectful, despicable for what happened over the weekend, and no one can fix that. And the man that could have changed that whole paradigm, he did his best, but his best wasn't enough, was Lofty. Lofty should never sign that, because if you're a man of good repute, man, you should not put your signature on that. And the thing about it, what I had to say was that you going into the political arena with Joshua Francis and their team, bro, that was the best opportune time for to show what you stand for. You should not have signed it. You should have stand for something. You say you're a team player and you want to sign. No, you should walk away. I'm not signing it. It's dishonest. The girl won. The other judges, she had 1 point over Daliches. And the thing about it again, Daliches should have said, yo, if she won, why did they give it to me? That wasn't right. He should have said that to you. That wasn't right. So there was a sacrifice just done with both Nashel and Daliches. And the gospel concert they're having, I think the senior judge should go to the gospel concert. And the other judges, they should go to the gospel concert. And what I have to say last, if you listen to the promotion of the gospel concert, there's a Chinaman, guy with a Chinese accent doing the promotion. This is how the Chinese encroaching easy every day on Dominica. The same way the guy with Franklin on the business on Q95. That's a Chinaman. His name is John Bocasio. That's a Chinaman right there, bro. Slowly but surely, you're encroaching in Dominica.
Mr. Bicasio, you're making me laugh, dear. He's not a Chinaman. He is from the Philippines. Be very careful, okay? The man will take you to court, right? Be careful about that. He's not from China. He's from the Philippines, right? Dominica, let's go. Careful what you say on the radio if you don't have the facts. It's you got to be very careful.
Sweet 16 is coming.
Dad, I turned 16 last year. Why are you still talking about my sweet 16?
For me, Dad, I still have 4 more years till I turn 16.
Hold on, girls. I'm not referring to your birthdays, okay? I'm just excited that PH Williams and Company's Super Sweet 16 sale is back after 6 long years. You see, construction costs high. And thanks to that deal, I get to save a lot of money that I can put towards your education. And birthday parties you've asked for it. Now you've got it. From February 9 to March 6, enjoy 16% discount on any quantity of sand, aggregate, and concrete blocks. Not quite ready for delivery? No problem. You've got up to November 30. Just pay for your items within the promotional period, February 9 to March 6. Visit P.H. Williams and Company Limited at Rockaway Canefield. Telephone 449-1112, 449-1251, 275-0638.
Hey there, drivers. Ready to hit the road? At West Indies Oil Company Limited, we want to keep your journey safe and efficient. Here are some quick fueling guidelines to keep in mind. First, make sure your engine is turned off. Absolutely no smoking or use of cell phones. Be sure to turn down your radio and remove your seatbelt in the event of an emergency. Safety first. Next, specify the amount and type of fuel you need. $25 diesel, please. Before you drive off, check your side rearview mirror to ensure the nozzle has been removed and your tank cover is closed. Be sure to follow these tips to fuel up safely and efficiently. West Indies Oil Company Limited. Innovative energy solutions.
Anytime, whatever you're doing, stop. You confirm to exercise your right, your vote, your party, your responsibility. This fresh confirmation process gives you the power and authority to choose your candidate. Don't miss this opportunity. Don't let it pass you by. Go exercise your right. The professor won't lose your vote. Your vote is important. Make it count. You make first communion. Now is your time to confirm. To vote. Look, Patricia Terry, Shirley T-Boy, Lucia Kami already confirmed. Hurry, join the confirmation process. Make sure your name is big and bold on the electors list. Go and register in your names that you can go. Make sure you walk with your witness from your polling station who is already registered. Do it early, do it fast, do it now. Call the confirmation hotline at 617-9595-275-8164. Do it because that makes you 100% Dominican.
We have a few more minutes. Of course, we end here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Somebody says here, Matt Lofty should have not signed this document. You can't be a team playing wrong that you are aware of and then confirm it. It makes no sense. So somebody's advising Lofty not to sign that document. Okay, let's listen again.
Education, c'est pas l'esprit. You see, because people are certain strata of society. We tend to give them, it's over everybody else. Like after them, there is nobody else. Like because somebody is some lawyer, somebody up in society, they have a certain surname. You understand? We tend to put them in certain positions. And these are the people you expect to have high moral values, high ethics, because we say they are educated. When you really check it, the man down there, lower down in society, is more transparent, is more honest, is more humble than these people, when they are the ones who are supposed to be promoting humility, transparency, good and positive ethics and morals. You see, that's what happened in Calypso, in the judging competition. You see what happened? People we expect to know better and to do better and to emulate. See that? See the rubbish we're getting out of them.
I told you the judges do not judge by the criteria they're given. They sit down with their pen and paper to vote for their monarch in mind. Somebody else says the Calypso or the same person says the Calypso Association is controlled by other forces who they are afraid of. Oh, how I love this man. You're talking about Simeon, the Calypso Association will not take his advice. Simeon is so right. They thought Nashville was going to church. Or I thought Nashville was going to church. Oh, sorry, Joy. Joy was going to church. Good day. Great assessment by Simeon. I think the Calypso Association is getting too complacent in their action. It should be an all-year build-up to Calypso, or else it's going to die due to proper performance assessment. Well, I think lessons learned, huh? For the past few days. And I think that would be the end of the conversation. Do we think so? I'm going to end it here with both Daddy Chess and Nashal. I'll be back on the radio tomorrow, if God is willing, in a different style, different way. Back to you.
Okay. 2026. Yeah. Life can be hard. One more wave and you capsize. You already done tired, even before the sunrise. Your boss at your work pushing you like wheelbarrow. Your house are rain in the dry season, your pressure's out to blow. So, if your roof leaking and your bed wetting, fix it, change it. If your roof leaking and your house flooding, fix it, change it. Never get comfortable, so you living better than your neighbor. But life have a way to surprise and humble you later. If your house condition have you living under pressure, then you must fix it or change it. Yeah, man. Yes, ma'am. It's getting real. You're working hard as a husband and a father. But your home accountant out there with a gym instructor. You're patching home, you patching home, she patching her pleasure. Boy, keep your head up, don't try to make up, she go deal with karma. So, if your roof leaking and your bed wetting, fix it, change it. If your roof leaking, water creeping, fix it, change it. Never get compatible for you living better than your neighbor. Cause life have a way to surprise and humble you later. If your house condition have you living under pressure, then you must fix it